skins on. When they're done, cut them in two. Serve them on the half shell, just like that. Serve them in slices when company calls. The more company you have, the thinner you cut the slices. If your mother-in-law calls, give her a beak piece like that. Now, the second tool in the set is known as the garnishing knife. Everything you cut with this must come out fancy. Watch this, please. You cut down, you turn the potato, and then you cut through the edge. First one way, and then the other. Sweet potatoes cut like this. Drop them into a little batter of pancake flour and fry them. When they're golden brown, sprinkle molasses on them. Serve them with strips of bacon for breakfast while they're delicious. Here's beets, you pickle them, and carrots, you steam or cream them. In making the original French fried potato, cut them in thick slices. Put them one on top of each other. Cross-cut the slices, and you'll never eat a French fry any other way. The potatoes cut like this will not absorb the fat because they're garnished around. Pineapples cut for your pineapple and cheese salad, cut them the same way. Here is one, and this is a dandy. Cuts any thickness or any size. Open it for a thick slice, close to the top for a thin slice. Saratoga chips, you can make them for 3 or 4 pennies a pound. Just pull the blade towards you like this. If you want the slices thicker than this, open the blade, there's a thick slice. Shoestrings for your Friday fish dinner, cut them down like this. Chop them up for your vegetable soup. What this knife is really intended for is for cutting the cabbage. You know the old-fashioned board, how you rip and tear, sometimes nipping the ends off your fingers. Lay it flat and pull it lightly towards you over the cabbage. The weight of the knife across the cabbage is all that's necessary. Why, ladies, when you get slaw cut as fine as this, you'll certainly appreciate eating it. The crowning feature of the set is the cutter that I'm going to show you now. This is known as the Champeen Vegetable Mincing Knife and Noodle Cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips, 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Well, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers. When you want to chop up a little nuts for cake, cooked meat, clams for chowder, soup greens to throw into your soup, making a little pepper or chicken hash is just a few strokes rolling it up and down. Why, here is without a doubt the meanest thing in the world to cut parsley. Put that in a grinder, you really grind it too fine. This machine, instead of crushing the parsley, cuts it quick, clean, and dry, leaving every bit of the juice and every bit of the flavor. Now, to clean this machine, you press the button. Rinse it out in a little water. When you're through using it, hang it up and let it dry. Here's one here that every lady should have in her home, known as the Parisian scoop. You lay it flat, once to the right, once to the left. When you scoop them out, you'll get a perfect round little ball. You can pot roast these, cut them out of cheese or cut them out of butter. When you're serving a fruit cocktail in the summertime, take your fresh cantaloupe, scoop them out like this, mix them with apples, pears, and watermelons, makes a delicious fruit cocktail served with a little cracked ice like you see here. But here is a tool, ladies, if you ever do get it, you'll thank the day you've seen this demonstration. When you press, it locks. It's like a pair of human hands. Reach in the oven and take the biscuits out of the oven. Ever take the hot potatoes out of the oven and burn yourself on the elbow? A roast chicken out of the oven, a piece of meat out of the pot, spinach, asparagus out of the water. Why, around canning season, when you're preserving the fruits, to take the hot fruit jars out of the water like that, that machine is worth dollars to you. And here's another one that I really know you'll enjoy having in your kitchen, known as the safety grater. No doubt you're familiar with the old-fashioned grater. I've seen ladies take a grater and rip the knuckles off. When you want to grate up potatoes for delicious potato pancakes, this has a smooth, flat edge, impossible to cut yourself. Just like you were washing clothes, you rub it up and down, and you really grate your vegetables real fine, retaining all the flavors and all the juices. Breadcrumbs for when you're serving veal cutlets or anything like that. You want a little breadcrumbs to fry your fish in? Why, there's the greatest proposition in the world. Use that for coconut, cheese, or horseradish. When you're through with it, just heat it down like that. That knocks all the food out. Rinse it out in a little water and hang it up and let it dry. Now here is a stone made of carborundum and sapphire quartz, which is made purposely to keep these knives sharp. When they get dull, a few strokes over the edge like this, and you can put a keen cutting edge on it. If you have a dull knife or a dull pair of scissors, an old sickle or a scythe, a lawnmower, cleaver, an axe, there's a...
Hello everyone, how we doing tonight? And I'm just now realizing that I've had my audio playing this entire time over the top of that other thing, so hopefully that didn't bother anyone. Last minute cleanup items here. I'm behind on a couple of things getting started today. We got my knife here that needs a scrub and the cutting board needs a scrub. But we have oven preheated to 450 degrees. It is smoky. I only have one mic enabled right now. And we have dough that I need to get a roll in here soon, because that needs to sit for another hour or so before I pop it in the oven here. And so this is, if you've been following my Twitter, I posted pictures of this morning. I started this at 6 a.m. and I'm going to put some bread flour on the board now. I started this at 6 a.m. for a no-knead dough. I normally start my doughs for no-knead dough the night before. So I normally closer to 18 hours rather than 10 hours. We'll see what the difference is. I've been very happy with the 18-hour AP flours. And using the bread flour here should give us a nice crust to the outside too after we do our enveloping and all that good jazz. But just gonna take this, and as they show in No Knead Bread method, all sorts of people out there have done no knead bread. If you just have to Google it or YouTube it if you haven't seen it done before. I'm not really trying to teach you guys this method here. I'm more wanting some bread with dinner. So folding it in on itself 4 different directions, so we have an envelope of bread and yeast that is also lightly coated with bread flour on the outside. It'll give us a nice bread flour crust and hopefully a little bit more of a crust to it than just your AP flour, but the majority of it will be a nice light white flour so that it is nice and light with the seafood and the pasta. And I wasn't ready to do that. I think I'm just going to do flour on bottom. I've been doing cornmeal or polenta on the bottom, and I like that, but I think I want to keep it a little simpler tonight. And I know you can't see this very well because my mountain of AP flour is over here. Went through another one of my smaller flour containers worth And so, was gonna hopefully do that before I started the stream. Didn't get to it. So, I'm gonna flop this guy seam side down over here and allow him to rest and rise for, we're gonna go 40, let's say 40 minutes. I'm gonna go light and quick on this, the whole thing. So normally you can leave this, normally you should leave this about an hour. So general purpose, about an hour, but that's what we're looking at now. About an hour. You can leave it 2, maybe even 2.5. You start getting into overproofing there because you start getting into, you know, places that haven't developed, because this is no knead dough. It hasn't been completely mixed up. Yeah, I'm not teaching you guys this and then I continue to talk about it for the next 20 minutes. I've only been streaming for 5, but we got the ferment from on Sunday, and this has been sitting in here. What I've done is I've taken a plastic bag and put it on top of our red cabbage, onion, carrot, and serrano, along with apple cider vinegar and oil. Much of the oil and vinegar have risen to the top here. And what I've got is a Ziploc bag sitting on top of it, filled with water. And then the top, I've got it screwed down tight, but I have the top completely off of there. And just putting it on top to keep the water in there somewhat clean. I am now, after having this sit out open air for 3 days now, I mean it's Sunday, I did it on stream Sunday, I'm gonna put this in the fridge now. You can leave this out longer. I think this is probably enough funk for me. I'm not huge into really funky vegetables. I know a lot of Asian cultures are huge into funky fermented veggies. I've had some when I traveled to China, but yeah. So this is going in the refrigerator. Let's see where I'll put that. How about right there? Those that haven't been following me, I bought a 40-pound bag worth of AP flour right when things started getting locked down, and so we're working our way through a little bit of AP flour. This is the last of that bag. I've gone through quite a bit of it already, but had this guy nice and sealed up so that hopefully stayed pretty airtight, even though it's just a Cambro. Get ready to pack and tape. I'll be right back. Oh, I haven't checked. Are my captions and everything loaded here today? They do seem to be. Let's see here. Everything else loaded here, we can close that. Or rather, we'll mute that whole site, thankfully. Cool. All good. Awesome. So we got that going. I am now going to start in on making pasta dough. And since I can't remember anything, I am going to look up that ratio that I like to use. Weigh scale because we're doing volume now. For right now. Let's just clean this guy up and use him again. Now we finally can get to the soap on this guy. This guy's been a little hassle here. I lied. So we're gonna go in our big guy flour here. Yes. I'm not even gonna pack them down just because I don't want to risk contaminating the larger amount here. Even more than I am with the cup measure here. So we got 2 cups of AP. Basic simple pasta dough of 3 cups flour. I often do corn. I often do Durham wheat. So we'll move this guy out of the camera scene here and move on to eggs.
We create things as a reflection of this struggle to study our perception of self.
Hey, too many small containers of stuff around the refrigerator taking up space right now.
Isn't necessarily a thing you achieve. Rather, it is a state of mind which you constantly strive toward.
1.
This all comes from an understanding that ideas aren't static, but fluid.
2.
Water. Be like water.
3. 3. gonna move the bread off to the front here. I'm gonna put a fresh towel over the top because I have a fan going here. Not too at this stage. I'm not too worried about. A lot of people in the recipe say to cover it at this point, which, I mean, you are gonna get a cracking and it may look a little bit different or funkier. Still gonna be the same bread. So, I realized I wasn't giving you a good show of that. We got our 2 cups of AP flour and our 3 organic eggs. It's organic flour too. I'm using an AP flour with a bit of extra malt to it, so it's browns a little bit better, has a little bit better of a, probably not that much different from your average AP flour at the same time. I mean, they're selling it as AP flour. We need salt, and what else do we need in our pasta here that I am forgetting? Yeah. Throw a little bit of oil or butter or any of that good stuff in there if you'd like, but I'm gonna skip that. I am gonna refill my salt container though. Always good to keep your salt accessible, dry, and cozy. And gonna fork these eggs without hopefully completely covering myself in flour. Just a little bit. Now I'm just sort of trying to incorporate that one a bit more. I'm gonna weigh this after, see what this yields as far as weight. Once I get this worked into a dough together, but sort of curious. Last batch the last ratio I was using pretty regularly was about a 1 pound finish with the eggs and the flour and all that good jazz. But not quite sure what we got here with it being a volume measure. Doesn't seem too far off difference in size. I'd actually guess, without knowing the math conversions well enough in my head, that they're roughly the same. I know I was using more egg in my other one though, but just a straight AP flour bread tonight and just a straight AP flour pasta tonight. I don't think the noodles are going to be hurt by the little bit of wheat flour that's on the table there. Give me one quick second. than me having to try and type it out here. So I'm just going to need to incorporate all this. The bread is chilling underneath the towel here. I don't have a nice mixer. That's sort of my no-go right now. This would be a little bit easier on the hands. Not that I don't need the workout either, but with a nice mixer to sit there and use that kneading paddle or kneading hook, dough hook. I think this is going to come together here. It's acting a little dry, but I seem to have a little bit of experience now with those. They're a little too dry. Wonder how much, I mean, yeah, there's a mountain essentially between me and the ocean here, but I'm essentially in coastal territory here in Sonoma County. I mean, Sonoma County has a fair amount of ocean coastline. Wonder how much that affects my hydration dose and that good jazz compared to, I know, I mean, humidity, all that stuff affects it. I mean, it's a living organism. So, well, for this, it's just moisture. But when it comes to the doughs and the proofing and all that, why come together? Tempted to add another egg here. Think I will. Actually, I've got a little bit of leftover egg in the container here. I'm gonna use for egg wash. We'll do that. Pre-mixed leftovers. Not the best thing for my board, but then again, technically there's raw egg in the dough too. Yeah, that's gonna be much better now. Plus you get some squishing noises now. So now we've gone from too dry to slightly too wet. Just slightly. Getting better quicker though. Pretty quick, we're getting pretty good here. There we go. Now we got a nice smooth bottom going, or at least starting. Just kept tearing before. It was either too dry or too wet. And I know part of that's gluten development, but part of it's having that ratio too. Got another 10 minutes on our dough rise. We'll throw that in the oven for, somewhere in the ballpark of 50 minutes. 50. Getting a little bit of that sweat going. Hey, Create Mode. How you doing? I don't know if that command's working right now or not. Did that give you something? Thank you for the host. I do have a Doe currency, but I think I changed that over to the channel points currency. And I think, actually I'm pretty sure, I changed my currency to frosting and sprinkles for the ones that I'm tracking elsewhere. But if you notice the channel points, I do have a rolling dough icon there. This dough's slowly getting there. It's starting to get nice and smooth, but it's taken quite a while to get there. Started off too dry, got too wet, added too much egg because it was too dry. Now we're just about right, but it's still not worked through. Nice. It's been a while since I had some lamb. Okay, I think I'm going to give this dough a rest and come back to that in 20 minutes here and start running that through the rollers. Get my hands a rinse off here, get that caked on flour and egg off of my hand. Nice! There are some things that are just easy for some people to come across on when it comes to just about any skill, which I still don't know if I would get mini meats right. If I was sitting there working a salamander or a proper steakhouse broiler. Sweat, 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 sweat. Whew. Only using the front mic tonight because I get the fan kicked up high for the bread. I still got another couple of minutes on that. We'll throw you in the fridge. Actually, you don't even need to go in the fridge. You just need to rest. Clean up the board. since I had a good steak. Man, now you're making me hungry. I'm not supposed to be hungry for another hour or two here. Board. I am not bored, my board needs attention. This guy the blade is still brand new and sharp, and so it likes to try and catch. Which, gonna have to work that out of it. Maybe the blade's slightly thinner or something too. But I'm not worried about its strength so much. Actually, it probably is thinner. Yep, all over the wine glass and everything. That was supposed to have soap on it. It does a little bit, but it's still not acting like it has soap on it. I know it does, but oh, we got shrimp that I'm gonna saute up while working on pasta. We got, I advertised squash and sweet pepper, but I think I'm gonna throw these heirloom tomatoes in there too, or at least some of them. So, summer veggies, an assortment. Welcome, public official. Glad to have you. Uh-oh, now I gotta be worried about my pasta making. We have actual Italians here. They'll probably be immediately offended the second I pull out that pasta roller, rather than doing it by hand. But regardless, thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you have a lovely time here. And so tonight's wine, which I'm going to open here next, and even though I said I was going to throw the bread in there now, but is continuing on with the $3 to $4, depending on where you are, Whole Foods, Three Wishes. This is going to be Pinot Grigio, but it's essentially 51% Pinot Grigio, so they can call it Pinot Grigio, and it's 49% Colombard, which is a grape that I'm not familiar with. It's probably a blending grape, but anyways, so it's not just a straight Pinot Grigio. They're using something else other than that too, but this is bottom barrel cheap drinking wine. This is more along the lines of Italian jug wine, which I need to go and get one of these Sundays. There's several vineyards around here. I live in Sonoma County, so there's lots of wine around. But there's several vineyards that offer bring a gallon glass jug and they fill it up for you. And again, we're cheap as you can go, practically foam. Actually, probably is foam cork. I'm gonna get rid of it. Yeah. It's a bit yellower than I expect Pinot Grigio. I expect Pinot to be practically like clear, like straight stainless steel. This has got some color, like it's seen some wood at some point, or at least some of it has. Actually, that's looking a little bit brighter on screen than... There we go, that's a little bit more golden with a white background. Which would make sense, because gray steel. I don't know if that's actually that, but... Again, good minerality on the nose. Acidic, definitely making my mouth water. Yes, cheers. Sorry, I went and drank without saying cheers to everyone. A little bit of water to go with that. There is a little bit of an astringent flavor to that one too. A little less put off by that on this guy than I was on the, what was it, the cab? No, I still have the cab to go. The Merlot. I didn't like the Merlot. I thought the Chardonnay was pretty good. I didn't think it was overly heavy oaked. I think this guy is probably a bit heavier than what people probably would expect. Apothic Dark. I know that one. I don't know that I had it, but I've seen it. Yes, I live in Northern California, in Sonoma County. So I am right in the middle of wine country. So, bread. We need to get bread in the oven here. I've had my cast iron heating up. Where is my... Oh, I hit that now. Nice, nice. Wandering bear. So we'll pull out that bottom pan real nice and quick here. All still nice and hot here. And we have our AP flour bread with a little bit of wheat flour on the outside of that guy. I'm not going to cut anything. I'm going to let it do its own natural thing here. And go back in the oven. I've got a lid for this. It's also made out of cast iron. I'm going to put that on once it's in the oven. Okay, and 450-degree oven. And we'll set our timer for 30 minutes there. And at 30 minutes enclosed in that smaller, already preheated Dutch oven, or in this cast iron oven, is going to allow it to steam and allow the outside of the crust to gelatinize, sort of like the best crispy potatoes you can get is where you sort of overboil your potatoes and then bake them. It's that same sort of thing. We're cooking the outside of the bread, but in a moisture-rich area, meat way, so that when we then shock it with high heat, we get that nice crust on it. Best way to clean cast iron is just scrub it out. Make sure you don't get any gunk in it. Heat it back up. I rarely don't want to use soap. If you don't get it clean, just doing a quick scrub, and it depends on how good of a cure you have on it. If you want to splash it with water all the time, I splash mine all the time. Both because these guys are flea market finds that are not particularly special to me. They all have good coats on them that I've been using for years. Other than the big guy gets some rust on the bottom, on the underside bottom. But you should try giving them a good fire with. They now show that I have, what oil is it that I have down here for this? Flax. For me, it's 5:20 p.m. right now. You want to give it a good coat. The oils that are sort of worse for you for eating, for your diet, are the better oils for getting that good coat on your. So flaxseed oil, which not the best for cooking with and eating with all the time, is good for coating your pan and giving it a good proper. I'm still at a loss for the proper term for this right now. Seasoning. Proper seasoning to your pan. But if just simple scrub and maybe a little bit of water doesn't get your pan completely clear, you want to switch to then what I usually use is a balled up bunch of aluminum foil, and the next step up from that is a bunch of salt. And you can just basically grind it out. Usually the aluminum foil's got enough to get just about everything out, but salt if need be. Give my shirt another roll here. So I think it's tomato cutting time. I am going to take these tomatoes, give them a bit of a dice, and allow them to drain out. Oh, darn. darn it, I forgot that. Oh well. I have worked as a chef most of my life. Look at my info section down there. I've been worked in a wide variety of restaurants over the years. That guy is starting to go. Okay. I am not currently working as a chef. I sort of think of myself as sort of retired. Especially with the way the industry is right now. But I have a mobile kitchen, and the last, well, 5 out of the last, say, 7 or 8 years here, 8 years now actually, I've been working out of farmers markets, making products directly from the local produce at the markets, and decided to move on from that, really. I mean, it's not really working here. Wasn't really looking to change the world either, but with all the laws and regulations and permits and stuff here in California, it just made it unreasonable to try and stay. Working up just for myself, basically. I was doing a between 1 and 3 man show. Hey, Glass. I am doing quite lovely. How are you this evening? Doing a little tomato cutting. Gonna be rolling out a little pasta later. Gonna saute up some shrimp that may be still frozen because I haven't checked. They're in the fridge. It's not the infinite cooking world. I do gardening and other things. I was thinking about that with my tomatoes here. I got some more tomatoes coming up here soon, and I gotta water them again tonight before I go to bed. I keep forgetting to do that at night. They need water. I mean, dry farm tomatoes are the best, but we get like no water here in summer, so it's a little too dry. Thank you. Yeah, it's one of my favorite quotes. Which I cannot say off the top of my head, but and is in the other room. But it is on my Twitter if anyone wants to look. A couple days back. Actually, that was a response, so I don't know if it's on there. It's alright, you're not French. At least I don't think. It's a French name. Thanks for joining us, public. You're welcome anytime. I hope you have a good night. dull knife doing a lot more smushing than slicing here. Give that a quick hone up here. What I should have done in the first place is pull this guy out, which one of my favorite unitaskers. There are few. Essentially a melon baller with teeth. So we can pull that top out and the tough little bit underneath the stem. Which, for two, it's a little excessive to pull that guy out, but when you're doing a case of tomatoes, he comes in handy. Roasted, not sure what you're referring to there, Glass. Timing screwing me up. I probably was talking about something. Oh, no, they're not roasted. These are, heirlooms. Which are Sonoma grown from a farm in Sonoma, the city of Sonoma. Small little town. So, and it's very, very expensive town to have property in. To have a farm in is sort of ridiculous. But, he does do a pretty large sale at the farmer's market, so. Or you're talking this? No, that's not roasting color. That's just color tomato. Actually, while they're on the board and nice and somewhat level here, give them a nice salting, because we want them to start losing moisture. The whole idea of this is I want to pull the moisture out of these. I'm going to use the sauce of these along with the cream base. So we get tomato sauce, even though it's going to be a cream looking sauce, but it's going to have tomato flavor to it. So, want all of this good tomato juice along with this. Trying to get most of that there. There we go. I live with that there. We have a little bit of a juice loss, but oh wow. Now that's something I didn't expect, but after the Merlot I probably should have. But there's still tons of residual sugar in that glass. I don't know how well you can see that at the bottom of that, but there's, yeah, just making my towel look dirty. But there's lots of sugar on that glass. So sugary and acidic, so that has to be really sugary. So these guys I'm going to allow set here. We'll go back to doing dough. I'm going to do dough over here now. Start by rolling out what we got here into a sort of flat disc. Something that'll fit into my machine here and make rolling easier, because I'm not rolling this all out by hand tonight. Pull out the roller, pull out the pasta queen. With the like 1970s, 1980s box design going on there with the repeating words on the side. I sort of like a lot of, I'm not really into marketing, but I seem to study a lot of marketing. Like, I have zero marketing education, but I've been watching business and business news most of my life, and therefore marketing and how businesses promote themselves. Yeah, the color's a little, well, they're trying to do the natural thing too. You should be able to find heirlooms like that these days, especially, I mean, just about every Whole Foods got something along that line, or Whole Foods, or any one of the alternatives, Trader Joe's. Starting off just doing, if it'll go, nope. Still need to roll you out a bit more here. Still a little too thick. Yeah. sides going through. They're going to be a little wide though, but nice. I think this dough is going to be awesome. I always seem to have much better luck with AP flour based pasta dough than when I actually use the proper durum wheat. Have a good one, Create Mode. Thanks for the host. Let me know what he makes for dinner next. So after all my talk with, I think it was with you, Glass, about teams in streaming, tonight is my first night as a member of Team Bone-In. Which, from at least outward experience so far, my experience so far is really just a collection of Twitch culinary streamers. I'm still just folding this over and going back over into the same roller, making sure we get nice clean sides going here. We're still tearing. Should probably get some water going here soon. Ooh. Lovely. All the way down underneath the counter. I got a little like IKEA butcher block thing on the other side over here, you guys. Which I don't use it for food anymore. It's seen better days, but it's still in my kitchen. Okay. Now I'm going to start sizing things down. We'll go down to size 2 here, see if I can't roll this once, fold this once more, and then we'll go back, then we'll just start sizing things down. Still haven't changed that for stream elements. Okay, back to size 1. One last time. Size 1, one last time. Yeah, I still worry about, I mean, overall platform, you get teams, you get people, hive mentality, and leaders politics. But I felt it was a good networking possibility, and all sorts of lovely people to meet out there in the culinary world. I've had a great reception so far, so I don't see any reason why it would be any different. But I don't know if there is. Do they have any? There has to be some teams in the art. There's so many people in art on Twitch. Oops, almost folding that in half. That was not the plan here. We're going down to size 3 from 2 now. I have no idea what the proper thicknesses these are, or if these are all the same. I assume this is probably the 1 through 7 on this is probably proprietary to Pasta Queen, which it's Italian made at least. I am sweating today. That 450 degree oven ain't helping much though. I'm changing the point of my fan over here though. So it blows on me over here where I'm doing pasta rather than over here where I'm cutting. Let's go down to 4. I was sort of thinking of 6 tonight instead of 7 like I did for lasagna. It's a bit thin. I want to have a little bit of tooth to these noodles still. Yeah, like I said, they always tend to in many cases they tend to break down, and just because it ends up being, you know, okay, we want to hear from the artists. You know, I guess the partner program's a good alternative to that, but back to 3. Looking at some nice smooth dough here tonight. Nice and happy with this. I'm working a bit more than I need to, but hey, we're having fun. We're waiting on bread anyways. Got another 45 seconds until I gotta take that lid off. That went quick. I wasn't expecting this to be, I was expecting that to be like 5 minutes still. So I'm going to take the lid off the bread, but the bread is still going to stay in there. We should have a somewhat starting to brown crust, but still light and gluten filled. Yeah, that's looking nice. I like the crack on that too. That's encouraging. I haven't had good luck. I left it smooth tonight because I haven't had good luck trying to slice the no-knead hydration doughs. And so, well, 75 isn't that high, but still. That looks gorgeous in there. That's got me excited. But at the same time, like I was saying before class, I have had a great reception from all sorts of culinary people here on Twitch. I was a little apprehensive at first, but and I'm not much of a talker. I'm much more of a lurker and hang out and do stuff around home rather than actually participate in chat. But I do watch. Try and cut this guy in half here, roughly, just because it's getting a little long to work with. And I think that's a decent noodle length. What do you guys think? It's going to be longer than that, actually, so. I think that conversation lost me 3 viewers, though. Come on, catch. There we go. Getting a little curl in there. Smooth it out. Cool. I think I'm actually going to stop with 5 here. Whatever 5, like I said, whatever 5 is. I have no idea if there's a proper size to these guys. Do I have paperwork in that box? I don't think I do. Oh, I do have some paperwork in here, but it's not, it's like recipes in multiple languages. Yeah. Not useful. I still didn't hear. Do you know if there has to be some art teams out there? Glass, have you looked into that at all since you started over here? Or are you still looking to be? I know you're affiliate now, so you can't really rebroadcast, but I know you weren't really looking to devote yourself to one platform. I think I'm going to go with that for thickness tonight. So give you a little bit of a closer look up here at what we got for thickness. There's still decent size to that there. I'd say maybe 2 pieces of construction paper. And I'm just going to go long noodles with this. I was debating if I wanted to cut these in half. I think I'm going to try and do them all the way through. Come on. The rollers really don't like the catch. I gotta basically like imprint it on one side to get it to go. Even then it's not going here. Is it too thick? Maybe too thick for the cutter. Nope, doesn't want to go through. Let's try cutting it in half so it's a little bit easier for me to manage here. And try it then. There we go. I grab a half hotel pan here, throw a little flour in the bottom so that it doesn't let the noodles stick. This dough hasn't been drying out very quickly anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Go with that. The wine's opening up a little bit. It's getting a little bit that astringent taste is disappearing. It's getting a little bit milder. Still hugely acidic. Still not loving the look of that foam on the glass. That tells me that they're probably using some form of, which is not uncommon in the wine industry, but some sort of clarifier or cleaner. That could be just as simple as egg white, or could be something that people think of as disgusting as like fish bladders or something like that. But there's all sorts of things they use protein-wise in order to clarify wines, and a lot of it's exempted from being on the label. Because it's not a final ingredient in the wine, it's being added and used to remove the this colorization or whatever's creating the off colors and look to it. Add a bit more flour over the top of those guys. Come on, catch, catch. We want to go in there. A little bit of moisture, let it stick to the roller there. Sort of cheat at getting that to go. Take a look at the bread. Gonna give that another 2-3 minutes, another 5 minutes. Let's say another 5 minutes here. Set a proper timer so I don't forget it, because it is looking nice and brown. I could pull it right now, but I think I'm gonna let that do its thing. Oh great, our last piece just went through nice and easy here. Not giving us any issues for our last piece of pasta dough. Sorry, I'm probably blocking you by trying to catch it. Go. Awesome. A little bit of flour in there. We'll let those guys sit. I'm gonna move them over here so that they don't get a ton of air from the fan. You're gonna be okay and not fall into my sink. Okay. Okay, so we're not just putting just tomatoes in our pasta tonight. So we need to get going with the rest of that stuff. And I need to get water going here for the pasta as well, because I do use a big bath of pasta water for fresh pasta. I don't for dry pasta. When it comes to dry pasta, I'm following either Kenji Lopez or Harold McGee, who both advocate for methods that use much less water and treat it much more like rice. Almost grabbed that guy barehanded. That would not have been smart. Actually, I want this on the off burner. I want this not even in the scene. We'll move you over here. Cool. Move you over here. Need a pitcher for water. Clean ourselves off a little zucchini here. Little yellow squash as well. Get rid of our stickers. All that good jazz. Don't know if I'm going to use all this guy. That's quite a bit of yellow squash to be thrown in there. I think I'm going to use about 3/4 of them. And our bread is ready. And that is looking lovely to me. Get ourselves out of rack here to allow it to dry. Eesh. Nice solid bottom, maybe slightly overdone, but yeah, I'm happy with him. He's pretty. He's pretty. Let him cool down a bit here before I break into him. Probably should have done quarters on that. Oh well. Evening, Allegation. How we doing this evening? Thank you. This yellow squash is a little bit beyond its prime here, but definitely got a little shrinkage going on here. Pretty good, pretty good. Got some beautiful bread that I just pulled out of the oven. I got some nice looking pasta to go with our veggies that I'm chopping up here, and a little bit of shrimp that I'm still not sure if it's defrosted or not. I pulled it out of the freezer and it's been in the fridge for what should be long enough, but I haven't looked. This little green zucchini's a nice guy, though. We got some beautiful heirloom tomatoes over here draining already. If you're just joining me. I'm gonna use the reserved liquid for the cream sauce so we get a little tomato flavor throughout everything there. And I've got a bag of sweet peppers that I'm going to chop some of those up into this tonight. I'm going to use the sweet peppers here for a couple dishes here, so those aren't all getting done tonight. The real question right now is, do I want to keep it light enough and skip the garlic and red onion? Or I think I'm still going to throw some red onion in there. Oh, that's a cute little guy. This will work for it. Sure surprised I ended up with that guy. I normally pick larger ones for onions because I sort of think of the small guys as being horrible on yield because the skin you're pulling off unless you're doing stock. But this is a cutesy little red onion though at the same time. Forgot about the water there. Gotta get water boiling for pasta. That's really our time sink now. Now that our beautiful bread is out here and cooling down quickly. This guy is just gorgeous. So happy with him. So happy with him. Just all sorts of gorgeousness going on there. Too far. Enjoy your gaming, Delegation. Let's see. Actually, I'm gonna go for a dice tonight. I normally never dice onion. I hate dicing onions. diced? Okay. You're all diced, okay. So we got that going. Now we need some sweet peppers. Probably paid twice as much for these sweet peppers because they came in a cute bag. See how easy these tops are easy to pull here. I'm gonna leave the seeds in on these guys. I'm not gonna be worried about a few seeds in with my pasta. If you have problems with the seeds, you can obviously pull them out. Or if you're using bell peppers, it's pretty easy to do that. But with all these smaller little guys, I'm not gonna bother. One of those times fingernails are helpful. Fingernails are usually a problem in kitchens, but every once in a while they're good for prep. I don't really have fingernails, but last one I throw it in the wrong place. So I think I'm just gonna thin slice them. Well, that's not very thin slice, but slice them. Hey, car guy. Welcome. How you doing this evening? Give me 1 second here. I'll grab my. Which hydrate do you want? You want the Pinot Grigio hydrate or the? I'll give you both of them. We'll start with the wine. Tasty, acidic, perhaps a little light fruit. Not any of that peach or apricot though, but maybe slight citrus. Then we got the water. What's that? Still a little warm. Still warm to hold on to, rather. I'll put you over here with the other guy. Oh, put you on the shelf over here. Ferrari ain't going anywhere. I mean, they might as well just banned F1. Ferrari got out of it. Howdy, Trigger. I didn't notice you there. Welcome. Yeah, I'm very happy with this bread. And I may start continuing to do this bread like this, because I haven't been nearly as happy with the look of the cook on the whole wheat or half whole wheat. Even though this is a much lighter bread and probably not as much of a rise out of it as could be. You mean Racing Point? Used to be Force India car guy, and are going to be Aston Martin here probably next year. They're pretty much a straight rip-off of the Mercedes. They're potentially in legal issues over that. Some veggies. Got that, we got that. We got veggies starting. Let's get cream sauce started. We'll start with cream sauce and move it to the back burner. We can turn the fan back down low. Turn the heat on our... Sorry about the crunching paper, I didn't think about that. And since the fan's on low, I can turn the other mic on. Hi, Phone Trigger, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking in. Not sure about that car guy. I haven't been following much of the e-racing stuff. Beyond noticing what Leclerc and Norris have done. So, gonna start with a little bit of butter in the pan. That's a good 2 tablespoons of butter there. Well, Penske owns Indy now, so what am I making Friday? Friday is going to be a roast rack of pork loin, four bone roast, along with beans and pork. Don't know if I have anything else planned for that day offhand or not. There may be more there, but that's what's publicly in my plans for Friday. And then Sunday is going to be taking the leftover. Sunday's going to be the cheesecake. Sunday's going to be cheesecake, and it's going to be taking the leftover pork and beans and making pupusas with those. I just realized I didn't get any goat cheese. I ordered goat cheese. I have to check that was in my order, not filled. Get the water on high now, too. Take a good handful of flour here to go with our butter. Hit or miss on bell peppers. I'm not a big fan of green bell peppers, especially raw. Every once in a while in certain situations I'll get a craving for them, but generally I'm sort of meh. I do love the sweeter reds and oranges and nom 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 nom. So these are all going to cook at different times here. They are roughly the same size. I'm going to give more time to the onions and the peppers, and then we'll throw these guys in for towards the end. Tomatoes, I'm basically not even going to cook. I'm just going to sort of like toss them in and hope everything else heats them up. However, this sauce that I created by salting these tomatoes and letting them hang out here, that is going to go into our cream sauce here. So we got our roux kicking around here. And I'm going to add this tomato sauce in with the roux for our first thing to really thicken with the roux here. So that thing, this is on way too low here. This needs to get up to a higher boil here. That flour is not nearly hot enough. And I did do about half as much flour as I do butter. Traditional roux, you're doing equal amounts of butter and flour. I wanted the extra butter in the flavor. I may even add more butter at the end. Okay, now we get this up to a near boil here. All of that in there. So we'll have a little bit of a pink sauce tonight to go with our shrimp, but it's just going to be tomato flavor. Nice. Well, I don't stream on Twitch, but I'm now member Bone-In team here on Twitch, so I am certain if you check them out, you will find yourself someone to be cooking here on Saturday. This should thicken right up. This is not nearly enough liquid to get this going, but I do want to get it nice and warm before I add the cream in there. And I think I'm going to do that now. I'm going to add a little bit of whole cream, wherever that disappeared to. And I'm going to add a bit of milk, since I got a bunch of whole milk around them. There's our whole cream. Whipping cream. Whole whipping cream and whole milk. Whisk here. Give this a good mix up. right back here. Waiting on my screens to power back up. Okay. And we're back. So we got our cream, we got our milk, we got our roux going. We need some salt in there, so it tastes like something. Bit of MSG as well while we're at it. And let's go white pepper. Couple taps of good old white pepper in there. Bring this up to a boil, and I'm going to put this on the back burner and we'll start working in our veg. Starting to get there. We're starting to get that butter separation back, starting to get a little bit of thickness on the bottom. Ooh, we got some side jazz I need to clean up here. I can't wait to break into that. That just looks so yummy. Let's take a photo of that while we're waiting. Starting to get there with our water. I haven't salted our water at all yet, so I'll go over here and grab my kosher salt and hit that up with a little bit of salt there. Throw that beautiful bread photo onto our Twitter post from earlier. Add that to our later photos too, but sort of a midstream tweet there to continue to remind people that I exist tonight. Come on, you can do it. Bubble. Starting to get a little bit, we're at a simmer here. Nice. What side of, is it like new house to them or just new house to you? I think this is gonna go pretty well with the shrimp tonight. Like I said, I still think it probably hits a lot heavier than people are expecting with the Pinot or Pinot Grigio, which is just because it isn't necessarily what people are probably expecting doesn't mean it's a bad wine. I think it's a pretty darn good wine for its price. What's our alcohol on this? 12.5. For a light white wine, that's not too shabby. Anyone joining us here a little later into the game here, we already got some pasta that I made up, rolled out and cut. That's sitting here waiting for our water to boil. I'm also working on light cream sauce with a little bit of tomato in the background there. That's the little pink that you get there is from the tomato sauce, or the tomato drippings. And otherwise it's just a simple seasoned bechamel. And that is now starting to thicken up here as we're coming to a boil. As you can see, it's not just popping and bursting, they're sort of rolling bubbles. It's sort of amazing how much the difference in how bubbles act and react is an indication as to a temperature that you're at, whether it's water or some other mixture. Okay, but I think we're close enough now that I can put this on the back burner to hang out for a while. Do a little sunflower oil here. Let's check and make sure our shrimp are defrosted here. They're still giant mass of ice. They aren't perfectly defrosted, but rinse off here. Some people might call these prawns. These are on the bigger end of shrimp. Last one. But I'm going to saute the shrimp. I'm going to saute up the veggies and then I'm going to do the shrimp. A lot easier to hold the veggies than it is to hold the protein as far as temperature, as far as quality of product. Curious, this is what we're working with as far as shrimp tonight. The water dripping out of into the pan there. Nice. Awesome. So we got our red onion now. Love that smell. Don't always get that immediate reaction, but I love the smell of cooking onions. See if we can't get a little color on these guys before we move on to the other ones. Me stirring them around here ain't gonna help that though. You have the pan up pretty high for sauteing. This is more of a light sear temp that I've got it at right now. That's not too surprising to me when I think of my extended family, and I have extended family that are just not computer people. Working in the farmers markets, that doesn't surprise me either. A fair number of the farmers and stuff like that. I mean, we had certain farmers markets had issues integrating email at this point because people didn't have email. As in, the market manager didn't have email. Of course, the market manager I'm speaking of is a sweet old lady in her 80s or 90s, but still the same. It's pretty basic at this point to have email. I'm going to put a cover. My proper cover here is otherwise disposed, so I'm going to put a pan over the top of the water here, and hopefully that'll help speed up our boil process. Because right now I'm thinking that's going to hold us up here. That water is not boiling yet, and I need it to be to make pasta. Because I'm basically 5 minutes and I'm there and that water is not even starting to boil. What do you mean we want to know what they're doing too? You mean Facebook or people that don't know that exist? in with our peppers. Give the cream sauce a little bit of a stir here while we're waiting. Just need those veggies to cook and this water to come to a boil here. I do have this like as high as it's gonna go and on my hottest burner. I'm going to leave the shells on the shrimp since they are already, I believe they're a bit deveined too. No, they haven't been deveined. Arg. Leaving them on. Run away. And I'm gonna get the squash in there now. Minus what I dropped on the floor. Oh, quiet drain. Hit these up with a bit more salt. Thank you for that, host Evangeline. Hopefully you're having a lovely evening tonight. Thank you for joining us. Started debating here whether I want to go through and clean and devein all these shrimp now. I was just thinking of leaving them shrimp on, sauteing them shell on. But now I sort of want to clean them. I think I'm going to clean them. We're waiting on water to boil anyways. Grab myself a dirty bowl here for the shells. Slide the thumb in pretty much the same for just about everything that's shelled. Just gotta sort of slide your thumb in along the side between the shell and the meat. Eventually you get enough of a purchase that you can just pull the meat out of it. Sort of squeeze up from the bottom to try and get most of the tail in there all together. Generally lose a little bit of the tail. You can do a fork down the back, or I've got a shell cracker too that would work. See how this guy works. I've never tried this guy on shrimp. Yeah, he sort of tore him up. That's true, that's a good plan. Yeah, the kid gets in the way, I don't have that issue. But I'm gonna go back to my normal. Yeah, gloves are sort of a tough one to come by right now. I might be able to get my hands on them, but I don't need them that bad. That I'd much rather let someone that needs them be able to get them. No worries, Evangeline. Enjoy that dinner. What are you munching on? Need to turn down those veggies. Okay, heat off on the veggies. Stirring the cream sauce again here. Cream sauce is just about perfect thickness. Maybe a little too thin if it's going to be thinned out by other stuff, but by itself right now it's just gorgeous. Looking like we're closer to a boil here with our lid on. And back to shrimp for a moment. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of the shells. Give this a rinse out. And give these guys a rinse out. Trying to get last bits of any of those shells or anything there rinsed off of them. Veggies I'm going to transfer into a different container, if only temporarily. Water is starting to boil here. I don't know if you can hear that. Take our lid off and try and get that boiled out of that. Tonight might be a mix the pasta and the bowl night. In fact, I think it will be. So, since that is the case, we'll get another clean bowl out here, move our veggies to that. I wasn't really planning ahead here. Add our tomatoes in with our other veggies here. So we got cooked veggies and raw tomatoes in here now. Let those guys hang out for a little bit. And turn the pan back on. Bit more oil in the pan and get this ready for our shrimpies. And the good news on the guy that got tore up by that guy, I think it's pretty much clean already. But it did get tore up. Ooh, what'd that guy have to eat? That one was just falling out there. I had to clean that one. I was trying to slice them all ahead of time and then clean them, but So if you aren't familiar, shrimp have a vein, or their digestive tract runs down their back here, so you have a long black piece that you can pull out. That's all that got all the nastiness that they've ate in the last couple of days, the last hours, or whatever of their life. That's a little warm. We're going to turn the heat off on that, let that chill out for a minute while we're waiting on our shrimp, finishing up our shrimp. So, yeah, I'm going to pull that little vein or track out of there. Don't have to, but it's considered proper and it's safer. Yeah. I mean, you're already essentially eating with the shrimp bait anyways, so. I didn't look if these guys are farm raised. I'm sitting here wondering if these guys are being fed something orange here in the last little bit of their life to help their color. It could be natural too. But I would assume that it's farm raised if they do something like that. But it could just be they're just eating something orange. I'm bringing our liquid up to a boil here. We got our pasta liquid at a boil here. I'm wondering if I want to do all the pasta at once. I think I want to do all the pasta at once here, which means I want my shrimp ready to go. I'm gonna get that pan roasting once again here. More than I need cleanup space. Smell the oil, but I don't see it smoking yet. I want that hot so that it's just in and out with these shrimp. Don't want to cook them for very long. Want to get them just cooked and done, and let them do a little carryover cooker. I'm gonna throw them in with the veggies and those tomatoes once they're good. Over to the side here with these. Okay. colder side of the pan a little bit more spaced out, hotter side of the pan a little bit closer together. I wish I could say that was planned like that, but it did work out nicely that way. That little black was the piece that was in the pan. Real quick with this, like I said, this is going to continue to cook. This is going to get mixed with our boiling hot pasta. This beautiful sauce back here that's got all sorts of cream and dairy in it. So we're just really getting our color. These things don't need much to cook or beyond that. Little quick steam action with our just so convenient wine there. And pull the heat off of those. We're going to add those in with our veggies over here to sort of pause our cooking. Alright, in with our pasta. We didn't completely lose our boil there. We didn't, luckily. Thank you. This is still pretty warm here, even though I added all those cool tomatoes in there. This is still, it's not hot, but it's warm enough that I think we're going to do well there. Actually, now I'm sort of thinking I almost want to put that over the top of my creamed noodles. And so I think what I'm going to do now, this is going to be our topping over our noodles. I was sort of thinking of doing this differently, and it's turning out awesome at the same time, but not how I originally planned it here. So we'll swap pans here. Bring our cream sauce back forward. Give that a quick turn here. Turn that up on high heat. Give our fresh pasta a little turn over in the water here. And yeah, I need a second bowl here for pasta, since I'm changing plans here on the fly. I so envy people with dishwashers. Okay, sauce is done. Pasta is done. Look at that loveliness. Nice, thick, white noodles. And I'm going to use the strainer on the pot to do this, since it's being a bit of a pain. Flame is off on everything here. Sorry for shaking the camera there, I was trying to be creative. Want our pasta, the salt tastes like something we'll have with a little bit of sauce, salt, and then we'll mix it with our sauce here until it looks like a nice combo. I think that's probably enough sauce. Let's get this quick turn here. All right. See, pasta one moment there to soak up that bread flavor. We'll give this a bread a cut into. Show you guys what I ended up with here for this lovely loaf of essentially white bread. Oh yeah, that's nice. That is a nice looking loaf of bread right there. I am happy with that. Definitely need a photo of that loveliness. Okay. And we got our shrimp and veggies. We got our cream sauce pasta. Give the pasta one more turn here. All right. And I think I'm gonna go with bowl. I was gonna go with well, I was gonna go with a bowl, but I was gonna go with my tighter blue bowls. But I'm gonna go with this guy. Give ourselves a nice turn on the pot so I get everything off over here and spoon some of this loveliness over the top here. Grab a photo. That deliciousness there. Supper's photo here. There we go. As always, I'd like to thank you guys for joining me. Anyone have any questions, thoughts, concerns? Wondering what we're doing up here? We got Friday. I'm going to be back here, going to be doing roast loin, bone-in roast, 4-bone roast, along with some heirloom European soldier beans. I'm going to use the home-cured hog that I got from that first ham that I broke down a couple weeks ago. And yeah, and we're going to be using the leftovers and cheesecake on Sunday. Goat cheese style cheesecake. Going to be completely different from your normal style cheesecake. That should be fun. Let's see who we can spread some love to out there tonight with all you lovely people. Why don't we go hang out with Timmy? It looks like he's just starting up here. Go ahead, have some tunes with Timmy. He's a former Mixer streamer. He's got some claim to fame as far as being a decent musician too. And that's a pretty good stream. He's a pretty cool dude. He's a pretty likable guy. So hopefully you guys enjoy hanging out with him. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. And let's see, okay, we're good. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I will be back here on Friday as usual, and have a great night.